This episode of FineScale Modeler's new product rundown features Merit's Ark Royal, Kinetic's Super Etendard, Bronco's Panzer III, Trumpeter's J10B, and a quick look at a neat Hasegawa release.
Welcome to New Product Rundown. I'm Skinner here with Elizabeth Nash to take a look at the latest kits.
That's right, so let's jump straight in with Merit International's 1/350th scale HMS Ark Royal.
I guess you could say we're jumping straight into the deep end with this subject.
You would say that. I wouldn't.
Whatever, Fraulein Party Pooper. Ark Royal is probably best known for launching the aircraft that disabled the Bismarck.
Commissioned in 1938, the 800-foot vessel also hunted the Graf Spee, Scharnhorst, and Gneisenau.
And supported Allied operations in Norway and the Mediterranean.
During an anti-submarine patrol in September 1939, destroyers escorting the Ark Royal sank a U-39? Yes, U-39, which was the first U-boat sunk in World War II.
Later that same month, Blackburn skuas launched by Ark Royal shot down a Dornier seaplane, the first British aerial kill of the war. Ark
Royal was mortally damaged on November 13th, 1941 from a torpedo from a U-boat and sank early the next morning.
Now, the ship's been kitted before in 1/700th scale and notably by Airfix in 1/600th.
But this is the first time the famed vessel has been kitted in 1/350th scale, and the kit looks great in the box.
The hull is split in half along the keel.
Portholes, plates, including the armored belts at the waterline amidships, and other details decorate the sides.
Well-appointed boat decks and more fill the openings around the hull, as well as open decks at the bow and stern.
The ship's boats look great with separate hulls and decks.
24 anti-aircraft guns protect the deck and superstructure, and there's a ton of detail in all of them.
The deck is a single piece with molded arrestor wires at the stern, catapults at the bow, and elevators in between.
Internal braces shore up the hull, and there's a nameplate for the stand.
The finesse of the plastic cranes has to be seen to be properly appreciated. No solid molded parts here.
Ark Royal's island was relatively small, and Merit provides most of it in two parts, the lower section and the bridge.
Other details, including the three-part funnel, decks, and masts, complete the superstructure.
There's photo etch here too. 3 brass frets provide railings, funnel details, masts along the flight deck, parts for the guns, and more.
It's a carrier, so there are aircraft. The early war air wing includes 4 Fulmars,
4 Blackburn skuas,
and 5 Ferry Swordfish.
There's even photo etched rigging and struts for the biplane string bags.
Decals provide deck stripes, elevator outlines and details, and national insignia for the aircraft.
A color sheet shows the carrier's simple camouflage.
The Ark Royal is a big name in Royal Navy lore.
And Merit does it up right with good details and thoughtful engineering.
Next, Kinetic's 1/48th scale Super Etendard.
This naval strike fighter, designed by Dassault Breguet, entered service with the French Navy in 1978.
Intended to carry the Exocet anti-ship missile, Etendards were used extensively in ground attack.
Yeah, the French have deployed it in combat operations in Kosovo, Afghanistan, and Libya.
Iraqi Super Etendards hit oil tankers and merchant shipping in the Iran-Iraq War.
And the Argentine Navy used Exocets on Super Etendards to damage several British ships during the 1982 Falklands War.
Kinetic Kit offers the option to build either the Super Etendard or the Super Etendard Moderniste.
The small cockpit includes a nice tub with molded side console details.
Multi-part injection seat with optional pull rings.
Panels for both the Super Etendard and Moderniste.
And a heads-up display.
There's plenty of detail molded into the front and main wheel wells.
Surface detail on the main airframe parts is terrific. Fine recessed panel lines, rivets, and fasteners.
Full-length intakes run to a fan deep inside the fuselage.
The lips are single pieces with the splitter plate.
Aft, the exhaust has some internal detail.
The speed brakes can be posed open, and there's plenty of detail inside.
The wings can be posed, folded, or extended.
And the flaps and ailerons are separate and posable.
As are the horizontal stabilizers and trim tabs.
Kinetic provides a good choice of underwing stores, including pods.
And 3 types of fuel tank.
In addition to the posable canopy, the clear parts provide lights and HUD glass.
Photo etch brass includes the mounting plate for the horizontal stabilizers, spoilers, and the HUD frame.
Cartograph decals provide a lot of stencils and markings for 3 French Navy fighters. One from the 80s, one from Afghanistan in 2008, and one over Libya in 2011.
And there are also options for an Iraqi and an Argentine plane.
Another great-looking kit of an aircraft that's been in need of a new kit.
Great job, Kinetic.
The next kit is Bronco's 1/35th scale Panzer III OSF-A.
The initial version of the Panzer III hasn't been kitted nearly as much as later versions of the German medium tank.
Designed a couple of years before World War II, 10 OSF-As were built, and most of them saw service during the invasion of Poland.
The lower hull shows beautifully molded detail in the road wheel arm attachments.
There's no hull interior detail to speak of, but there is a mounting point for the turret and a bulkhead for the engine compartment.
The coil spring suspension includes separate mounts, shafts, and nicely molded springs.
The road wheels have detailed tires and rims and separate hubs.
Similar detail marks the idlers and drive sprockets.
Individual links held together with plastic pins make up the tracks. A jig aids assembly.
The fenders have nice bolt detail and separate mounts.
Front and rear mud flaps can be posed up.
Beautiful tools attached to the fenders.
All of the hatches are separate.
A sharply molded hull machine gun and driver's optics dress up the interior of the front plate.
The turret features the same fine detail as the hull.
There's even rivets and attachment points inside.
A ton of stuff occupies the turret, including the main gun.
There's the gun's breech, seats for the loader and commander, gun sight, controls, and a pair of machine guns. Photo etch metal supplies engine screens and other fixtures.
Decals and color diagrams provide markings for 4 tanks, one in pre-war two-tone gray and brown, the rest overall gray.
One is a Polish invasion tank.
It's nice to see modern kits of important tanks like this.
And Bronco's done a great job.
Next we have Trumpeter's 172nd scale J-10B.
This is the latest version of China's frontline fighter with a stealthier intake than its predecessor.
Typical of Trumpeter's 172nd scale aircraft, the J-10 features fine recessed panel lines.
The cockpit includes a tub with molded console detail,
Seat.
an instrument panel.
Full trunking runs from the chin intake with the fan at the end.
There's detail in the jet pipe, including optional exhaust nozzles.
Beautifully molded gear bays attached to the one-piece lower wing and belly.
The inboard flaps are separate.
Other features include a single-piece intake lip,
Terrific-looking nose cone,
canards,
pitos and antennas.
and weighted tires.
The J-10 carries a bunch of ordnance, including 5 types of missile and 250-pound bombs.
2 sizes of fuel tanks round out the underwing stores.
Clear parts provide the posable canopy, lights, HUD glass, and the searcher lens.
A small photo-etched fret supplies the seat's harness.
Decals give stencils and placards for the weapons and pylons.
On a Chinese Air Force fighter.
This good-looking model would be perfect on a shelf with Eurofighters and Rafales.
Finally, let's take a quick look at a neat kit from Hasegawa, the F-16B in Taiwanese Air Force markings.
This one's a little special, with a nod towards the American Volunteer Group, better known as the Flying Tigers.
The kit is Hasegawa's 2-seat Fighting Falcon with recessed panel lines, detailed cockpit, and a boarding ladder.
The decals provide markings for a single fighter from the Republic of China Air Force 401st Tactical Fighter Wing in July 2015.
The throwback markings include a shark mouth and Flying Tiger logo, and even kill marks.
They make a nice addition to the striking Taiwanese insignia on the tail.
Retro look for a modern jet. Very nice.
Look for reviews of the Ark Royal, Panzer III, J-10B, and Super Etendard in upcoming issues of FineScale Modeler magazine.
And you can see more new products in the July issue. On sale now.
Thanks for visiting FineScale.com. I'm Aaron Skinner.
And I'm Elizabeth Nash. We'll see you next time. You would say that. I wouldn't.
Whatever, Fraulein Poop. I was going to call her everything. She's got that in. Oh, great. Now the beagle's falling off the table.
Off to a good start here.